Hello, this is Mono Mukundu. I'm with Nelson Farawu in Monolio Studio.
Okay, the two of you, why are you together now, as you speak? What were you doing before I came here?
We are working on a project. It's a Reggae Hymns album, and it's also featuring Nelson Farawu in V-Night and also of other local artists. Yeah.
Okay. All right, Nelson, your album is what? Let me say what?
Hand in Hand.
Yeah, Hand in Hand is currently one of the songs that is being played, on our station and quite a number of stations. Just tell us who V-Night is.
V-Night is a group which is composed of two brothers, me, Nelson Farawu, and Victor Morungu. And Victor is now based in South Africa. And we started on as an a cappella group at high school back in 1998. And we just decided to actually compile an album now, especially since Victor is now living for South Africa.
What took you so long since that time when you guys started out and to compile the album this year, 2008? What took you so long in coming up with an album?
You actually see that if you are coming up with an album, it has got to be something which is refined, something that you take out to the people and you listen actually to the people's comments and the people's idea, because it's got to be a people's project. Because I believe that the project, before it's recorded, it's your project, but once you record it, then it now belongs to the people.
Exactly.
And you have got to consult with the people. So all along in between, we have actually been consulting with gurus like Ngeja here and a lot of other guys.
And Ngeja, when they came to you with the idea, the album, what did you think about it?
At first, I just thought just people who were just trying to waste time in the studio. I never thought they could come up with such a beautiful piece of album. But when we started, then it started taking shape, and I was impressed.
Yeah. But you coming in from you're in South Africa recently. What were you doing there?
Yeah, I came in today, just fresh from South Africa. We are doing a project with a group. It's a group called Worship House, but the band leader of that group, it's a well-known group in South Africa, a gospel group. The band leader wants to do a solo project, so we are recording it in early August. So we're just doing some practices. So he took in people from Zim, like myself, some people from Joy Celebration, some people from Benjamin Dube's band. So he just grouped in a number of people so that he just produces a different album from the projects that he usually does with his group Worship House. Yeah.
And the difference in sound, you coming from Zim, your sound probably is different from the sound that they have in South Africa. How do you relate with those guys when it comes to the project?
Yeah, that's why he called in as well. He called me as well because he wants a different sound from the other South Africans, what the other South Africans do. Because if you notice, South African gospel music has got one problem. It sounds very similar. There are a lot of dozens of Vuyo Mokoyenas, there are dozens of Rebecca Malopez. So he wants to come up with a very different sound. So even if you listen to the album, when I'm playing my contribution to the album, I'm playing very Zimbabwean guitar, Chimurenga style. Chimurenga style on South African gospel, so it's coming out very different. Yeah.
Interesting. Then Nelson, your album Hand in Hand, what type of genre is it?
This is a fusion of reggae and jazz, and actually and a cappella as well. As I had highlighted earlier on, that we're actually coming out from an a cappella background from way back in high school, and I've got a disposition towards reggae and Ngeja. Ngeja is a jazz person, so there's that fusion, you see, of reggae jazz in the music. So I think it's a balanced, but actually the message used there is actually gospel music and gospel message in the music.
Running through the songs, what message is there besides the good news and stuff like that? What type of message are you portraying in the songs?
In the songs, actually, we're trying to build people's hope, and we're actually trying to tell people that no matter what difficulties and challenges that they're having at a personal level and even at a group level, at a national level and whatever level, there's actually hope in Jesus. You see, we believe as Christians that the Lord is the source for our solutions, and if we believe in Him and we actually rely on Him, we actually see His salvation, and you actually take us through. So actually, we are actually trying to encourage people to deliver that close relationship with Christ in actually tackling their day-to-day problems.
Okay. All right, Ngeja, back to you. Germany, was it last month? You're in Germany with Chiwani. So what were you doing in Germany, the experience that you got there?
We're doing live shows with Choni. So these days she's now going with a live band. She usually went just with an acoustic set, but the promoters asked her to try out a live band last year, and she did it, and it got a very big response. So I think she'll be going every now and then because they were very much impressed with the sound. So it was me, Josh Meck, Clive Mchikasira, and Nicholas Nare, and Rumbi Adam Chiso, and Moses Size. Okay. That was the group that was backing Choni. So it was a very beautiful experience. We played with a lot of big artists, Bib Koite, Freshly Ground, etc.
Okay, and going into a country, probably a European country, with the sound that you have, a Zimbabwean sound, how is the reception from those guys?
No, Zimbabwean sound is very, very international. Inodiwa zvakaipa unzoko. Because if you go with that sound of ours, because there's another group in South Africa, they did 2 songs with Zimbabwean musicians. They did traditional songs, just Chimurenga. And for the first time, they've never been approached by Western sponsors. For the first time, they were approached by Western sponsors from Europe, asking to promote them to come to Europe, etc. Just because of those 2 songs they'd done. So you find out the Zimbabwean sound is very international. What people want there, just like the same way at Notamba Rumba Munomu, we don't understand what they say, but we like the groove, we like the melodies, we like the harmonies, and we like the sound. So the same thing with our Mbira sound. We don't even know what we have. That sound is very, 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 very much loved outside there.
Okay. Now, your projects are another brick. You know, what's behind that thought? What made you come up with that project?
Another brick is an album that I did to celebrate 1 year in business. Because my studio is now 1 year old in business. So another brick, just a matter of saying, I didn't bring the studio as a way of competing with any other studio, but it's another brick in the building of music industry in Zimbabwe. So I just picked a number of artists that have recorded here. Some artists from Zambia like Mau Mwale. If you know Anna Mwale, Mau Mwale is sister to Anna Mwale. Okay. And there's also Chris Aka from Zambia. And there's also Piero Ntambo from DRC. There's Victor Unonga. There's Alexio Kawara, Betty Makaya, and a number of artists. Just to sell my sound, just to tell people how the studio sounds. Okay. Yeah.
Were you getting any interest from other studios?
Not yet, but I'm very dangerous, so I want them not to threaten me.
Okay, Nelson, you're coming up, and the music industry is just new to you. What other challenges are you facing at the present moment in trying to push your music across to people?
Actually, challenges. I'll say challenges are at a personal level. You see, because you actually see that right now, like me and the brother man I'm working with, Victor, who is now in South Africa. We are in full-time employment also. So you see, the challenge is actually in trying to balance the time between music and work. I'll say for now that's the main challenge. But in terms of music, so to say, I wouldn't say there are many challenges right now. We haven't actually faced many challenges, and as I've been saying that, you see, with the help of people like Sibanda and a lot of all other guys, and we're trying actually to blend in with a lot of other guys. Quite often, ndinofamba nangeja chingokopera one or two things, and actually that's has opened an avenue for me to meet many artists, and I think the guys are sociable, and I would say that currently we are working on well, and we haven't faced major challenges as a group.
Okay then, Ngeja, you another break. You work with young artists. It's not quite so common in our country for Ngejas like you to work with the Ngonis, the Rockies. How do you go about that?
The good thing about music is you can blend with anybody. Just a matter of willingness. But with these youngsters, the good thing is most of them are trying to experiment with a new sound. Some of them have accepted the criticism that their music was not very marketable. They needed live instruments. So they are sort of experimenting, trying to find out how they can blend in instruments. Like if you listen to last album, Yema Freak, I Kazavizem. And I got a guitar on one of in fact, on the title track, and it got a very, very big response. So most youngsters now want to do their music with instruments. So the good thing about me is I'm in good books with everybody, be it one umsebe, one reggae, anybody and everybody. I work with everybody. Especially as a session musician, I've also recorded with a lot of artists, different artists. So I just nongo kwana person.
And then Nelson, reggae, church, people don't see it as a genre that's supposed to be sung in church. Remember some other time when Ivy did rumba church and people were complaining and why is she doing rumba church? Reggae has some connotations about it. What's your defense in singing gospel reggae?
Yeah, well, I'll say, you see, I'm not here to defend any music or what, you see.
Defend your own music?
Yeah, I'm here actually to defend myself. The issue is, I believe, you see, I believe in being oneself, you see, being yourself. And you see, as I said that, I've got a serious reggae disposition, and I've grown up liking the vibe and just having this affection towards the vibe. So me getting into reggae is actually trying to represent what I am like, you see, because there are people who actually in the church there, you see, a church is a very big thing, and it's very wrong, and I don't think it's a very positive way of life for someone to identify themselves as a church, because after the church there's an individual, and that individual is what carries the day. I believe in being myself and being original, you see. I'm not trying to do things because other people are doing it. Because, you see, there is nothing, you can't be better than yourself. There's nothing as good as being yourself. Okay. So here what I'm just trying to say that, you see, as people, we need to be ourselves. You see, you need to be a person who is identified by what you truly are, you see. And you'll be surprised. You never know that, you see, maybe it's just a feeling that actually the people who actually like reggae or who like some other genre of music haven't actually just showed it up to themselves to actually see that, to actually put the positive message that is a music. So actually I think in coming up with defending this music, we are just trying to say that, you see, there are a lot of people who actually want some other type of music, and they shouldn't be stopped by the groups that they belong to. Because if we are talking about church, I think church has got one enemy, which is sin. And I don't believe that reggae is mentioned in any way in the Bible, that you see people don't have to sing reggae, because reggae is not the sin. Everybody has got their own Garden of Eden, and that in that Garden of Eden there's one fruit that they shouldn't take, and that's sin, which I believe is not reggae.
Also adding to that one, apana type of music inonzi yakadona kudenga. All types of music dzakagadzirwa pana papasi. And I was in Texas the other time. If you listen to what's his name, Jimmy Swaggart, his gospel music is country music. If you go to Texas, Mabawa Texas, country music, Mabawa. Then if you listen to the other types of gospel music, you want ballads. If you go to Europe, ballads so apana type of music, you know, yakadona udenga itrene fura imwe. All types of music you can use them to worship God. But the problem in Christ is at times we start living nema rules because we should live nema rules amwari.
And once we find
with my church, that's why even my church do we are so strict about dress code. You can't stand kumberi kwano usina sunga tie. But ukataza machechi varungu vacho vakatintroduce matai inozva kuparidza vakapfeka majini. It's not about your dressing, it's not about anything, it's about who you are. Because you end up spending time wakutaza dressing. Wopfeka utsvene, wopfeka hembe mugubvururu, vakadzi vakapfeka hembe mugubvururu, but at the same time vachitadza. Saka chine basa kutaridza kuti Mwari ati chii, noti kuti vanhu vati chii. Because ukada kutedza mitemo yevanhu hauipedzi. That's why chonoti even chivanhu chaicho mukaora imomo munokunonzi matema nepasiripo hamuna natsoita so hamuchipedzi chivanhu saka marules evanhu futi hamaapedzi saka in terms of my types of music there's no type of music yakadonha kudenga. There's no type of music inonzi rap music chayo you can praise mwari nerap music.
Exactly. Okay, well spoken there. Now let's go back to the issue of young artists. Who can you single out as having actually listened to the criticism that you're talking about and actually doing a great job in actually trying to make that music appeal to probably a wider audience?
One of them is Alexio Kawara, because finished producing his whole album. On another break, I just took out one song.
A very good song, Rudo.
Yeah, Rudo, yeah. But we did a full album. And we also worked with another producer, Jairus Amba, to polish up, to put our heads together. So that album has got a very mature sound and people love it, especially if you listen to Nyaedze Rudo. That one is getting very good airplay and very good response from people. So I was also with Rocky last week and he's also trying out some new things as well. So I think a number of them, even Mafrika, I went to their show last 2 weeks ago. We went to their show with Nelson Farawu and they were also using live instruments. So I think it's starting to work now.
Okay. Okay. Now let's get at the business of music. You said you're celebrating a year in business. What's involved? You know, you put up a studio. What's involved in coming up with all these things that you have in your studio now?
First of all, what's involved is money. Because to buy these things, you need money. And I was fortunate when I was buying this stuff, I was still a member of Oliver Mtuku's Black Spirit. So we're traveling a lot to the States once every year. So I made sure that every time we went to the States, I would come up with something.
Okay.
So, and then number two, you don't just have to buy a studio for the sake of buying a studio. Just madumas are kufamba and then mese mutango tenga madumas. Because what happens with music is if you just buy instrument recording equipment, you end up selling it. Because what happens is people these days, music in Zimbabwe is evolving towards people look for a sound, they don't look for the equipment. You have to have a sound as a producer. Somebody knows if I want to do reggae, I'll go to that producer. If I want to do R&B, I go to Mac D. If I want to do stuff yakata, I go to Take 5. If I want stuff yakata, I'll go to Mono. So if you just buy for the sake of buying, you don't have a sound, you don't have a contribution to somebody's project, you end up gather dust.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So what happens thereafter? You have bought your equipment. How do you look for the artist now? What do you do?
As for me, looking for artists was not a problem because I was a producer for a long time, but unfortunately my guitar skills were overshadowing my other talents. But another time I even worked for Ngawongo as a producer, and I worked for other record companies also as a freelance producer. Although at times some companies when they up credit young, they never wrote my name on the sleeves.
Oh, what's how it
yeah, that was when my company is I can do that credit young or else. So I not your credit young. The good thing is with your own studio, no one steals your credit. Yeah. So I've been a producer for a long time.
Okay.
Yeah, as you know, I was also a session musician for a long time, working with a lot of artists. So when I started my studio, it was just automatic. Yeah, I never had to sweat to advertise myself.
Exactly. Lyrics, Nelson. How do you come about the lyrics? You know, you have your Vaviri, Upenyu, Ngarum, so those songs. How do you come up with the lyrics to the songs?
I know Rotsko.
Most people say that. Most people say that they know Rotsko.
That's a lie.
No, serious, I've heard people that I've talked to, then I ask you, how do you come up with the lyrics? I'm inspired, then all of a sudden...
What happens is when you sleep, the mind keeps working. That's why you don't know to go in mchato mangwana, don't write out chat. Doesn't mean to go Rotsko or anything, but... Funga dzine dzichingoshanda saka not musician funga dzinongoshanda, you can even compose my guitar lines unongomuka utobata guitar, it doesn't mean to warotswa nemudzimu or anything. Brains dzine dzichingoshanda
vasoro chifunga moto unoirota. Yeah, but on our part tonight, what happens with lyrics that you see, our message is actually gospel music. So what happens that we are both composers, me and Victor. So whoever comes up with a song with an idea, you see, we first of all come up with an idea and we discuss it, you see, as a group, the two of us.
Okay.
And after discussing, if we agree on a topic, then we actually refer back to the Bible to see how actually the Bible says and how it comments about such topics. So that's when we actually choose some the lyrics to the songs there. Like you can actually see that on the song Openyu, we were trying to say musafunganya nera mangwana because michero ndezo ashe. You see, we were actually taking it. We actually took that from the message which the Lord said that don't be worried about what you eat tomorrow, because think about the birds of the air and the animals of the bush. They don't think about tomorrow, but the Lord provides for them. So actually the lyrics actually come up from the idea that we want to put across to the people, and actually we then refer to the Bible. We then refer to the Bible to come up with the words.
Just take a breather and just listen to Mona playing something. We'll just be back and
Yeah, that was Nerimwe Zua.
okay.
Yeah, it's on the album Supangeja. Yeah.
What else? Just tell us. I like the what you call this. There's this the what's his name? The guy who influenced your music quite immensely from the States. What's his name? The rock guy, the black guy.
Jimi Hendrix.
Jimi Hendrix. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that stuff. Or unless if it's not properly connected.
Yeah, it's not properly connected. But I had a lot of influences, like also Jonas Tolle.
Okay.
That's Jonas Tolle style.
Okay.
So that's one of my biggest influences as well. As well as George Benson, stuff like this. So I just picked one thing from that guy, one thing from that guy, one thing from that one, and then I produced a monolicious sound.
We sound. let's hear the monolicious sound.
Turns out mono, yeah.
Yeah. That's Zimbabwean guitar now.
That's what you're giving them in South Africa.
Yeah, exactly. Because if you play this guitar anywhere in the world, they know it's from Zim. That's one thing we have. We've got a heritage.
Okay.
There are some countries like Botswana. I'm sorry to say, I'm but they don't have a music of their own.
Yeah.
They don't have identification. You listen to their music, they sound South African, sometimes they sound Zimbabwean, sometimes they sound like DRC. But at least we've got something to take a player, somebody can say that's from Zim.
Okay.
So I'm taking advantage of that one. So very soon I'll be making a lot of money. Because of that guitar.
Alright, let's look at good. You're coming. Okay, you're not coming. You're already in an industry where you have great guitarists. Let's mention Louis Mhlanga. Let's mention Andy Brown. Who else is there? Who else? Maxwell Vidima in South Africa. You know, there was Late Pilani with Oliver. How do you see yourself playing probably in an industry where we have these stars that are there?
Yeah, the good thing is I'm not coming in trying to be another Louis Mhlanga. I'm not coming in trying to be another Jimi Hendrix. I'm coming in trying to be another Mono Mukundu. I'm coming in as myself. I was born original. I don't want to die a copy of somebody. So what happens with every artist has got a contribution. You contribute something. Something. So if you spend your time trying to copy somebody, you'll be letting go of something while trying to somebody. Because of late in Zimbabwe, the problem with a lot of guitarists, and everybody wanted to be like Jimmy Lulu, even dressing But some of them, I even talked to them. I said, guys, you were born yourself. Don't try to be Jimmy Zulu. Copy from Jimmy Zulu. Get ideas from him.
All right, let me mention that. I must mention that, particularly the group 2 Open. Now the group is defunct, to say the word, with the list, because they were copying a style in the rhythm that was not theirs. But how do you maintain yours?
I just look at myself and what I can do, and then try by all means to sound like myself. If I get an idea from somebody, I try to fix it to make it monolicious.
That's what is going to grow, believe me. But we'll come back to you and just tell us your musical background, because you spoke a whole lot about the influences that you have. Now, to Nelson, you and Victor, you're apart. The survival now of the music.
Geshe recently, he's actually coming from South Africa today. I think he went there a couple of days ago. So actually, that can explain that, you see, being apart is nothing, especially we're talking. This is a global village now. We're living in a global village. You see, people can fly to one another. And from that, you see, we can communicate over the phone. We can compose a song, you send waves here, we can add on that. And then, so you can actually see actually that in music, there's a bridge which you cannot break, and the only problem is when Victor dies or when I die. So we can't share ideas then. But not talking about going to America, you see, we can fall and in 3 days we are together. And Victor is always here, and sometimes I go to South Africa, and I think there's no problem there.
Okay, all right, Mono. When did this all start? Let's go back to the music careers, because I'm seeing a whole lot of
pictures.
Memories here.
Yeah.
You had an afro once, you had a dreadlock once. Then
right now I've got a Zuda.
a very, very strong one. Just tell us your background in music.
My background in music, I call it Plan A.
Okay.
But a lot of people you find with what is it as one of my friends, and you can sing, you can go to the studio and record. We had other plans, and then music became Plan B. With me, music was Plan A from birth. Even if you take a look at my fingers, they are very long. So my right was not a musician, and then he made my fingers long. And my fingers are very slim. They are not big and fat. We don't know. Butter 2 strings ka one. So when I was growing up, even took my 5 years, then I got guitar. So I just grew up and got a guitar. Even Chukura, my favorite toy was my homemade tin guitar. I would imitate guitarists even broom. So, but my parents didn't want me to play music. My father wanted me to be a teacher, but I was interested in music. So the first time when I was a proper guitar, that was 25 January 1988. I met a guy called Last Saidi. He's late now. He's the one who taught me my first 3 chords. So from those 3 chords, that was 1988, I started improving myself from listening to other guitarists on radio, watching other guitarists play, asking questions from other guitarists, and spending a lot of time with myself practicing and hearing sounds from my head. Because Panama Sounds, as an artist, we use a lot of imagination and a lot of daydreaming. So I can daydream a lot of sounds and then try to produce them on the guitar. So 1988, I formed my first group. It was called Sarungano Chanters. With Edson December and Chikets. We did a lot of auditions, more than 10 of them, and they all failed. And some of the members, they got discouraged. But I took it as a milestone, as a learning
curve.
Yeah. And then from there, I joined Chuck's Brothers in Norton with Jackson Piri. We tried to do a number of shows. Tazonazo Famba, Takapezera Taro, and Zara, Puti for breakfast, lunch, and supper until.
That's when you had dreadlock?
No, that was before.
Oh, okay.
On that picture with dreadlocks, the Tata Tanga group lines Chikokoko.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
What were you playing then?
I was doing lead guitar.
Okay. I mean, what type of sound were you involved in?
Yeah, that's traditional. That's Mukundu style.
That's Kura.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
That's the song. So we did a number of auditions. They failed until we recorded 1992 album Rains Ruvengo, where there's this song Rombendian. So we did a few shows here and there, and things didn't work out well. And then I left the group, and then I started sessioning for other groups from DRC. That's when I learned how to play rumba, sukus, etc., etc. And then from there, I became a Christian 20 June 1994. And then I joined the Ejia Gospel Train. So we played with Kero Chiwengwa, Ivy Combo, and Any Combo. Then I left the Ejia Gospel Train to join another church group. It was called Christian Life Center. It's now called FIG, as a full-time musician. That's when I started being a session musician full-time.
Okay.
So I started working with a lot of groups. My Dear Brothers, Celebration Choir, a lot of groups. Like I always say, up to now, one of V-Night. Which one is V-Night? So I went with a lot of groups. Then 1990, I think 2001, I released my first album, and it was called Jesu Ishasha. It was called Anusumza Marombe.
Okay.
Then number 2002, I did an album called Jesu Nini. But then I discovered that my albums, I was putting too much emphasis on the vocals when I wasn't a good singer. So I decided to...
Quincy Jones style.
Yeah. So I decided to put more emphasis on the guitar. So I spent 4 years without releasing until 2003, I joined Oliver Mtukudzi. We did a lot of traveling, a lot of touring, and I learned a lot from other artists. And then that's when I released Poor and Famous.
What was the reason behind Poor and Famous?
Poor and Famous, the title Poor and Famous is inspired, or it's an observation in the music industry in Zimbabwe. But thank God it's improving. But I said Chapa is compared to Zimwenyika. You find with in Zimbabwe, you find somebody very popular, aripa pressure papazi in town. So you find with him, akuzo magitari chete, kumedia, kumagitari, kuma arts, acting everywhere. Find with you. We must celebrate in Zimbabwe. We become popular, but it's not money, as opposed to the Western world where fame is attached to money.
Yeah.
But thank God, at least these days we can survive. Both Kudaram, you couldn't survive in music. We still run a decent life. Like myself, I don't do any other job. My wife doesn't work. Don't go in music. But Kudaram, you had to work 100% count waitoita romberera kuti unoengoridza magitara utengerwa doro wodhakwa urore uchingofamba uchingonea. So at least totena mwari kuti pane improvement takwanisa kurorawo nemagitara takarora nemagitara. Education,
musically, wakaenda kuchikoro to do this, or just a talent that you have?
No, musical I learned from the street. I was in the College of Music 2001. My purpose there was to get the formal side of music, but not to go to hundreds of albums already. But what happened is I wanted to get a certificate, the national certificate in music, which you can use to teach music.
Okay.
So I'm going to the good is the life is you can bend or ndongombo badge ndotanga kuticha music mumaschool.
Then we share babako.
You see.
But I hear you broke a record with Shkoro. You're the only person who could play. I don't know what you call this. Teacher, the teachers couldn't play the way that you're playing the guitar. I don't know what you used to do there.
Yeah.
That's what Roma Chetam, you know that it's true or not.
Could he?
But you actually did something with the guitar, actually playing some different notes.
Yeah, Panama tricks over itopa guitar, but what happened is but in terms of playing, there was no one who was at my level. Panama teacher was you. But anyway, I'm a nini piece. There was nini piece don't go zitza. But yeah. But Nigrini, like I was saying, I learned from the streets. So what I wanted was just the certificate and the formal side. But for the formal side, I really gained a lot. I even got a grade 5 a BRSM. That's the International Certificate of Theory of Music.
Okay.
And I got it from College of Music. And a lot of doors opened when I went to Zimbabwe College of Music. So I really thank God for the time I spent there. I did a 2-year course, that National Certificate in Music. So the practical side, I got it from the street. The theory side, I got it from College of Music. Also, not forgetting Isaac Chirwa. I also got a lot of theory lessons from Isaac Chirwa. Especially Pamnyatwema chords, I learned it a lot from Isaac Chirwa. Okay. So part of my formal education is Zimbabwe College of Music and Isaac Chirwa.
Okay. Then Nelson, the influences. Who else besides the gospel itself influencing your music? Who influences your music?
Yeah, you actually say that. You see, when I was growing up, like I started to be active in music from A level. You see, that's when I met a Christian brother who is Kevin Nachipo, who is currently is recording also at Monolia Studio. So I met Kevin when I was doing lower 6. And the brother is very musical, you see, and currently he's recording his project, and I'm sure soon it will be out. Okay. So we were doing these rounds with Kevin. We were visiting a lot of studios, and we were recording. And you see, I was never triggered to a point of actually wanting to record on my own until we got to engage a studio. So we came to Monolio. When was that? Late last year.
Yeah, late last year.
So we came actually with brother Kevin Achipo, and we were recording with this group, Scarlet Thread. I don't know whether that's the word you use formally. That's when actually, you see, if you meet a musician, you can actually love music from that. Yeah. So from then, that's when I actually got interested. You see, there is one thing that. What happened was that, you see, I'm so reggae biased, say that, but I believed, I had this belief that in Zimbabwe there's no one who could play reggae. But there was this song which the brother recorded at Monodo Studio. You see, it was called Kweziwa Kuvamba, you see, Kuchikamaru Kuvamba Kweziwa. So when Geja put the bass line there, that's when I actually discovered that, hey, there's something very big here. Yeah. And then that's when I actually phoned Victor, and I said, Vic, I think we can do something somewhere. And then I invited Vic to Monolith Studio, and that's when we actually put up the project.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Mona, I'm going to ask you a tricky question here. You can actually say no comment if you don't want to talk about it, but I think you know the story. What happened with, you playing for Oliver Mtrikos and a whole lot of guys thereafter?
No comment. I know I have a comment.
No, I just want people need to know, because really we just need to know.
Yeah, what happened is Oliver decided to change his management. He decided to change his sound. He now wants to use traditional instruments. So the lead guitar was replaced by marimba. The keyboard was replaced by mbira.
Okay.
So he also wanted to downsize his band. So he let go of about 7 people. That was me. So there's no more lead guitar. Jeros Hamba was the keyboard player. There's no more keyboards. Clive Mchikase on drums. He was replaced by Sema Tauro, who is doing drums and management, which means also Debbie Metcalf. That's when she also left the band, because she was also replaced by Sema Tauro. So Sam replaced 2 people. And then who else? Mary Bell and Selma Mtukudzi. So it's and who else? Kenini Sham. It's about 7 people who left that time. So it's a decision which was made by.
Did you leave or he fired you? I think that's what I'm asking.
I can't really say fired is such. He just let us go.
But in a way, you can read mbira. You can play mbira.
Yeah.
You can play another instrument.
Yeah.
So okay, let's not go there. I think we're exposing a whole lot of things. Let's just conclude the show here, and we talk about the future. Venite first. The future of the group.
I would say the future of Venite is very bright. Actually, right now, Victor is now in South Africa. We are doing some collaboration. We've started working with some South African group, like the church where Victor is working. They've actually contacted Victor, and they've actually contacted us after they've heard our project, because it's doing well in South Africa in terms of sales. there. So the group, there's a church group which is there, and they've actually asked us to do a project with them. And also we are doing this project with Ngesha, the one with the hymns, and actually it's actually going to help in exposing us. But the large picture is Vinite is there, and we're going to be there together in the next foreseeable future, and we'll be praising the Lord together.
Still the same sound, or you'll diversify later on?
Well, you see, the world is dynamic, and you see, and the people are dynamic, and even ourselves as well, we are dynamic. You actually see that what you used to like today, you might not end up liking it tomorrow, but you might not know that you will change with time. So I would say that we will be moving with the times, but one thing that we can promise the people that we will be very relevant at whatever point in time that we need our service.
Beautiful.
Yes.
To the Ngesha.
Yeah.
I think you have a whole lot of more things to say about the future.
Yeah, for the future, I'm planning to be very rich, like through music. I always tell my wife, when I die, it's a feeling that I have, and I know it's true.
But the money will be left for the kids. And
for the kids.
Yeah, if I intercept, the word of God says a good man leaves an inheritance for his children's children.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm planning to expand my studio. I'm planning to expand myself as an artist. I've started working with that are South African artists. So a lot of a big number of doors are starting to open up in South Africa, and I'm not planning to leave Zimbabwe as such. But my idea is I go and play. Then ndodzoka kumbabozi mukadzi ari kunoka unozopedzera unzwa kuti munhu achionera Johnny warora ikoko futi because I don't think marriage works the husband are in another country, the wife are in another country, kana murume ari in another continent. So I'm planning to pane chinoita masession angu South Africa nechingwena ichidzoka. So I'm planning to expand my studio. I'm planning to expand myself as a guitarist, as a producer, and then expand my pocket.
Okay, then you working with musicians, the future of the music in Zimbabwe, what is there going to be a sound that's so very, very definite? Like in South Africa, you have your kwaito. Is there a sound that is going to be definite amongst young people? Because I don't believe that urban grooves is a sound. Urban grooves is any other sound that's urban and contemporary. On
urban grooves, because if somebody does kwaito, we call it urban grooves. Somebody does raga, we call it urban grooves. Yeah. Somebody does R&B, we call it urban grooves. So urban grooves, there's no apana direction. I'm not trying to go against anybody, but if you want to notice, we always go forward by looking at the past. Because Pama types of music in Zimbabwe, apana muna atatenga kana mapata-pata with R&B and with so what I'm trying to say is that type of music at the moment I don't see any future as it is yakadaro. That type of music as it is now aina mari.
Okay.
That's a fact. Because Panama types of music like jazz, you get people who come to the shows. But even if I said myself, people come to the shows, you make money. Mseve, we very international. Tengisa zwa Zimbabwe nekunaona unonzwa like pa Mozambique neku UK, but we just all international where we wanzo kuti munaenda kunodza ku Germany chichi, but at least you make money somewhere. Wana macheso watoita mari yakaipa. And then stuff yakaita sanambira. Friend uti locally anogona satengesa sterek, but nyika dzakaita sana Europe, Germany, France, US kupi munhu unotsukira nokukwira ndege one. So at least you make money somewhere. But in terms of urban grooves, if you do a show, no one goes. It's not good to vapana vanotera vana mari, because if you go kwamacheso you find vapana vacho vakazara futi ikoko. So how come vanaona mari yekuenda kwamacheso but yekuenda kuma-urban grooves vanoishaya? So you find that there is that problem here, that element yekusada kuridza ma-live instruments, of which some of them like mafreak vanaroke vakutanga kugadzirisa, which is fine, nana likes yukawara. But as it was, urban groove county as it is now, because I started to move into that new stage. As it is now, aina mari and aina future. And I always tell people to kanachitanga music, ask yourself, do you want to do music? Just ungo moresko morodere ungonza ndi ningiko Dumisani ko dimono ko usina chin. You want to do music as a way of living zvekuti unongotori kubasa zvekuti panotonzi mirirai baba vapo vari kubasa ono uchiridza magitare noti magitare aya kuti uringoridza wongomhoreswa murodhi because haudye muri nemheterwa you need to survive. Saka the future yesound yemuzimbabwe we have to find a way, like if you listen to the album Revinite, it's not reggae, Jamaica. There's some element of Zimbabwe, Mairi, there's some Afro jazz, that's the direction of like Ukata. So South Africa, they took rap music, their own version. Wakatora reggae music, they made their own type of reggae, type yana like it the way. So anything they do, they South Africanize it. In Zimbabwe, we need to Zimbabweanize rap music, to it in our own way. Not to try to sound like Joe Thomas, because there can only be one Joe Thomas. And a lot of people, they want to take an example. Ekon is an American. He was born in the States. Just for a short time. The only difference with Ekon, Ekon and everything. But America, so it's different from somebody who Zimbabwe. And then you think ungaenda ku America and compete na vanhu variko pa music dzavo azviite. That's a non-starter one. So my encouragement to my artists in Zimbabwe, especially vachiri kukura, ask yourself, why do you want to do music? Do you want to do music for the sake of kungomhoreswa murodhi, or do you want to do music for the sake of making a living? Kuti kukatofiwa unotanga kutoshiudzwa iwe kunzi udzai nhingi. Because a lot of panumumuntu kukafiwa udzwe because hauna kana contribution yaanopa papa namo. So kana unoita music for a living, Zimbabweanize your music. Somehow Zimbabwe flag yeZimbabwe inofana kusumuka somehow. And ukadota history yese music ndo vanhu vakadya nemusic muZimbabwe, vanhu vaimba neshona vachiimba zvinhu zvaizikanwa ndezvemuZimbabwe ndo vanhu vakadya. Yeah, so future music in Zimbabwe, I want to help my artists vapana vese tinazoshepa music ichikura positive direction ichiunzwawo mari. Of course hatisati ane mari sitiri mamusicians emunomu, samusashamisike ndiri mukombe wana because ndatombobvunzwa nemunhu munhu the other time kuti hausiri munhu ndinzvanzi kuchichaitika ndatinda zvanzi seuri mukombe ndimopamane. Saka hatisati ane mari sitiri mamusicians emunomu, but iri kuuya. And then we start because at least right now we can survive through Badrama rent, through in Savannah Skoro, Takarora, Sagam.
Ice cream.
So
okay. Nelson, Mono, thank you so much for taking time out to chat with me. As I think that your story will be told to Zimbabwe. And good luck with the music industry.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Mono, just play us out.
Okay.
Till we fade.